Up next on End of the Day Beer Review, we are not looking at beer. Instead, we're going to look at a cocktail infusion and a canned cocktail. This is the Hale M Cocktails Old Fashioned Cocktail Infusion, where you add your own alcohol. And this is Straightaway Oregon Old Fashioned, and this is got everything in it. It's a little can, and you pour it over some ice, and you're good to go. So we're going to try that out, and this is coming in at 80 proof. Let's go check them out. Hi everybody, it's Rich and welcome to the Day Beer Review, and I'm filming this on Sunday. It's Father's Day, and my wife and daughter got me something I thought was pretty cool. This is Hale M Cocktails Cocktail Infusion. Now, I'm a big bourbon guy. I like bourbon. I like Irish whiskey as well. I'm dabbling in Scotch, but it's not my favorite. So, you know, I was saying, oh, I would really like an old fashioned tonight, and I was gonna make one, and I normally make it with, you know, a good bourbon, a rich demerara sugar. Actually, I use the Anders Ericsson recipe that's been online for like the last 4 years. But this is advertised as being something that would be great for travel. So, you know, the question is, what bourbon do you use? And, you know, I was thinking, like, on an airplane, the only bourbon I've ever gotten isn't really bourbon, it's Jack Daniels. And I don't want to use a bad bourbon because you know, I want to give this a fair shot. So I figured I would use, you know, and again, you know, I've got some stuff here that would be great for it. You know, like there's the Old Fitz, there's some Angel's Envy back there, and Old Forester 1920. There's an Eagle Rare, but I'm going to go with the Buffalo Trace. And the reason I'm going to go with the Buffalo Trace is because it's a similar ABV to the canned cocktail. This is 45% proof, and this was a single barrel select. I think my cousin Fred got me this. So what you are supposed to do is you're supposed to rip this open, supposed to take this out. Oh, wait a second. Look at that. That's why it's resealable. There are multiple in here. I thought it was one big bag. Okay, so this is the infusion bag. I can see the orange. I can see the demerara sugar. I'm assuming that's cherry. That's really, really interesting. Now, it says that once it's in the glass, and actually it comes in a resealable pouch. So if this is something that turns out to be good, might be something I try again. And I have to tell you the truth, the aroma coming out of the bag is phenomenal. A lot of citrus, particularly orange, but you can get some of the bitters in there as well. Now, I do go a little heavy on the bitters when I actually pour my own. All right, we need a measuring glass, and that's something I did not put out before I started doing this, so I might cut some of, oh, here it is. Okay, good. So I thought I had one sitting here. Now, it does say that I should put in 2 ounces of the bourbon, and then let it sit for 5 or more minutes. 1, 2. You know, I'm gonna give just a little bit more to cover it, just so that stuff has a better chance of sort of soaking in. Now, I know people are probably sitting there going, oh my God, it's Buffalo Trace, and you know, you can't use it as a mixer. I have to be honest, I was going to use Jack Daniel's single barrel for this, but 1, it's 100 proof, and 2, I don't particularly enjoy it. And I find that if I don't enjoy the whiskey, then, you know, like, how would I enjoy the cocktail in any meaningful way? All right, so now this is supposed to steep for 5 minutes. Alexa, set a 5-minute timer.
5-minute timer started.
And we'll come back to this in 5 minutes, and we will try it out. So let's put this aside. All right, and put this aside. And we can go to our next cocktail, which is the canned cocktail. And you know, I've had this for a bit, but I am sort of interested to see how it would go. Now, you know, it's 80 proof, and what is the size of this can? Because the can is like, It looks tiny to me. I mean, clearly it's got to be more than, okay, 40% alcohol by volume. You know, I just don't see a size on this particular can. Oh, 100 milliliters, okay. So this is dishonorable but electrifying. Oak, a smidge of orange, dry finish. Whiskey, simple syrup, bitters of filbert and fir. Keep at room temperature with devoted attention. Stir over ice and give it a twist. Orange or lemon will do. All right, we'll give it a try. Now I make clear ice, and I'm using some clear ice for this. So let's pour it over the ice. Right off the bat, I have to be honest, I am a little concerned that it is this light. You know, like, not to be a complete stickler on this, but you know, we're looking at a much different color when we look at these two cocktails. Now I do realize this is mostly bourbon and it's not being poured over the ice, so this might be a little diluted. Let's get a bit of orange, which I believe I do have some dried orange here somewhere. Maybe I don't. I don't know. I don't really mix cocktails all that much if, you know, you can't tell. Actually, I have no idea where they are. Somebody is probably sitting there at home watching this and they're like, oh, they're up there, but I don't see them. So I'm not going to worry about it. Let us continue on. All right, so this is the canned cocktail right here. And again, this is Straightaway Oregon Old Fashioned, canned by Straightaway in Portland, Oregon, produced in the United States. And it says that it's whiskey, simple syrup, bitters. So, I mean, I don't even know what type of whiskey is in here. I'm not getting a ton of oak. I'm also not getting a ton of the bitters. Really not getting much other than a very generic, very young whiskey aroma. Let's see what it tastes like. You know, it is surprisingly decent. You know, like I could see getting this as, this could be an old fashioned at a wedding or, you know, a bat mitzvah or something like that, a bar mitzvah. You know, it's got, I think the whiskey in it is relatively young because there's a lot of burn there. And I know I'm normally a beer guy, but I'm really, actually, I'm sort of a whiskey and a beer guy. I like them both. And the whiskey is remarkably simple. There's a little bit of smoke, a little bit of, a very little bit of that sort of like charred barrel. But there is a pretty serious burn there as well. See, there's the big problem with it, is that as I'm sitting here drinking it, all of that sweetness and flavor that I'm looking for in an old fashioned, the flavor from the orange, from the demerara sugar, from all of that, is sort of missing here. There's a hint of citrus, just a slight hint of bitters. In fact, I have to say, like, if it was up to me, and it sort of is because, you know, it's my bar, I think I might throw just a little bit more. I have no stirring implements here. I will have to be a bit of a savage, I think, because I am missing any of my stirring implements. Oh, okay. Nope. A muddler, yes, but nothing to stir with. Alexa, off. Okay, so that's nice because that is the 5-minute mark. I do want to try this out. You know what I'm gonna do? I'll be an absolute savage and I will use my, yeah, I'm gonna throw in maybe, actually, you know what? Let's pause. I'm gonna edit this. Gotta be something here I can use. Oh, this is how a video. Oh, okay, we'll use that. That'll do. Nice. All right. It's not the best, but whatever. Okay, so let's give this 2 shots. 2, 3, 4. Let's go with 4. Give it a quick stir. It's better, but you know, I have to tell you, it's a very generic old fashioned. It would remind me of one that I would say would be made with a relatively low end bourbon. It's not bad. Listen, if I had not had an old fashioned the way I make it, I would consider this to be completely acceptable. It's just not exactly what I'm looking for. So let's put this over here. And it's been a little bit more than 5 minutes. So I'm going to pull the tea bag out. And what I am going to do, just to make sure, is going to muddle the bag a little bit. There's nothing in the directions that say I have to do this. But you know what? I would like to see as much flavor as I can from this. In fact, you see, that's the thing I don't know if you can see it, but it looks like a good portion of the sugar is still sitting there here. So I might actually give it another minute or 2 before we actually consume this. All right, let me give this one more taste. Again, it's better with the added bitters. But now I want to add some more cherry juice to it, and if I'm going to go through that much hassle, I might as well just make it the way I like it, you know? All right, let us see if this one is ready to go. And again, like when I make them by hand, I normally don't have to spend this much time working on, you know, the sugar and all that kind of stuff. But all right. I've muddled it out as much as I think I'm going to. Let's pull this out. I don't think all the sugar is out, but I got as much as I could. Let's put this over here. It does suggest, again, some ice for dilution, and I just put some of the water in there too, which was sort of not good. All right, another block of clear ice. And you know what, I'm going to give it the benefit of stirring it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Now, put my tools there. I will say this, while I do enjoy an old fashioned, beer is easier. I'm getting a lot more of the whiskey now. I do realize the whiskey here is about 5% more ABV. But I'm also getting way more orange, and I'm getting more of the bitters. You know, that's not bad either. Now, obviously, I'm using, I believe, what's to be a higher quality bourbon, and that may have something to do with this. But I have to be honest, this is, I mean, listen, they're both passable, okay? If I was stuck somewhere and I said to the bartender, make me an old fashioned, and, you know, it wasn't a real bar where they were gonna mix stuff up, would I take a can of this poured over ice? Yeah, it would be fine. And quite honestly, after 2, you're not gonna be tasting much of it anyway, although I don't think I'd recommend it, because I have a feeling that this is just like rife with preservatives and all that. Although it does say gluten-free and vegan, so maybe it's not. Maybe it's like actually much better. And it does say, you know, it does say that it's just whiskey, simple syrup, bitters, and just a smidge of orange. So I mean, yeah, It's accurate. It is. It's just, it's not exactly to my taste. This one's a little more to my taste. That's not bad. And the fact that there's a bunch of them, it came as 2 packets. I had no idea that you could just put, you know, that there were like 10 in a package. I thought it was 1, and I thought they got me 2. But I don't think it was super expensive. I think they were like maybe 20 bucks for 2 packs of 5 or 6 or whatever's in the container. I don't even know. Let's see how many we got left. We have 4 more. So yeah, they come, I mean, listen, there's 2 things I think I would recommend here. Number 1, I think I would have left the bag in. One, I think that sugar will continue to dissolve and make the cocktail ultimately better, as it both, you know, dilutes and as the alcohol and water have time to work on the sugar. So I think that would be fine. I like it. I think it works well. Actually, I am surprised at how much I like both of them. I know I seemed a little down on this. It's a little basic, but it works. So, you know, that would be Straightaway Oregon Old Fashioned, coming in at 80 proof, and it's by straightawaycocktails.com. Definitely, you want no work and an old fashioned that's pretty good, give it a try. I think it's worthwhile. Do I think that the Hail M Cocktails Cocktail Infusion is better? I do. I also think that their directions on the back, it says place infusion bag in glass, add 2 ounces of whiskey or spirit of choice, wait 5 minutes, add ice. I think I would have given this more like 10 or even 15 minutes just sitting in the whiskey and letting it go through, because, and I have to be honest, I'm going to try another one of these tonight. That being said, these are very good. I think they need more time in the glass than the directions say. I think I'd give it 10 minutes, or better yet, I think if I knew I was gonna have this for dinner, I might just take it and throw the whiskey in the glass, and you know, like put a cover on it or something like that and just leave it for a while. Let everything go. Then I think I would still muddle it to get whatever's left out. And listen, I think it's pretty good. I do think each of these serve their purpose. These in a cooler to take somewhere would be fantastic. You don't have to carry the bitters, you don't have to carry the whiskey, you don't have to deal with any of that crap. Or the fresh fruit, which is always my biggest problem, is I'm always short like an orange. This is even, I think, more convenient because you can throw 5 in this pouch. I believe you can order them online at hailemcocktails.com. They also have like a little QR code if anybody is interested. And by the way, this is not a paid advertisement. These were literally given to me for Father's Day by my wife and daughter, and I think they're pretty good. So I hope you've enjoyed this. You know, this summer I'm going to play a little bit with the channel. I know I've been a little less than diligent on getting everything out, but it is the end of the school year, and I am a high school teacher during my normal life. And summer gives me time to do a little bit more exploration and try new stuff when it comes to this channel. So anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the review. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, and I will see you next time on End of the Day Beer Review with some beer. Cheers.